That could potentially last up to 100 years. And I'm talking about the one-piece double-flowered African Adenium. It will ship off to you May 4th. This one will ship to everyone at the same time, May 4th. Only purple in this one remains, and you can get it home using any major credit card. 6 easy pays at $7.30. This is an annual tropical plant.
Yeah,
yes?
well, it's annual if you left it outside in the winter, but it's actually not really an annual because this thing can live up to 100 years.
So just bring
in
it
your
in.
home.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is a house plant, just like a lot of house plants you wouldn't want to leave outside in the wintertime. That's totally fine. Now the yellow we don't actually have any more of, but we're just seeing the images just for the look and how beautiful these are.
So it has the appeal of a bonsai, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. With these little flowers that look like roses on top. Now these actually come from the continent of Africa, sort of dotted all over, and there you can see them in the wild pat. Now those are about 100 years old.
Wow.
And they're large outside in the wild, but in your house you keep them in a pot. They naturally
won't
stay
get that big
as
in
a
a pot.
tiny little tree.
Okay.
Yeah, impossible in a pot that big. Now this is the color that we have. This is my absolute favorite. Look at the deep, rich color there. You're gonna have these flowers all over your little tree for 6 months every year.
Oh, that's
starting
nuts.
in June, going through December. And that's what I love, because a houseplant has to really be worth it, you know? And a lot of houseplants aren't. They're just green or like sticks. But this thing, you get flowers half the year, and the other half of the year, you have a beautiful little bonsai tree to look at.
Everything about this plant is interesting.
I know.
I mean, they have the coolest like root system, and they're very bulbous looking, and kind of they look old, like they have a story to tell. I mean, they're that cool. 6 easy pays at $7.30. This would be a great gift, and that's what you had mentioned to me a little bit earlier. But I totally agree with you, because this would be something lovely, and it ships out May 4th. So keep it alive to Easter or Mother's Day, or if, you know, here's one maybe if you have enough light you could take into work with you. All right, here's our update. In the month of February, 15,000. Wow, already ordered. 15,000 ordered. Only 2,500 remain in purple only. Wow. So now's the time you really do need,
and you know, we
to make
always
sure you dial in.
get through these every year. They're
you do
sold
every year.
out really fast.
Yeah, I
People
agree.
love them. I want to look at this from the bottom and go all the way up to the top, because every aspect,
cool
like you said, is interesting here. So the root and the base, you know, this is actually full of water, just like a camel's back. That's why you only need to water this once to twice a month. Can you believe that? For its whole lifespan. And you can see that kind of gnarled, ancient look to it. Even men love this houseplant because it just looks like something out of a fantasy novel.
It looks like it's out of a garden, you know, or some kind of great movie, or if you're with Mickey and Minnie at Disney World, they have like, you know, it's very cool looking.
And then as you come up here, you'll notice we have a trunk just like a huge tree out in your yard, and then this beautiful branching leading up into a canopy of jade green leaves, and then topped with flowers. Now this plant here, I want to remind you that it is the practically easiest care houseplant that I know of, but also lives for up to 100 years, also blooms for 6 months every year.
Does it need sun? Does it need to be in a window?
Yeah, well, what
does
you
it
get
need?
home here.
Is this what you get home?
This is exactly what you get home now. This is the biggest size we've ever offered. You know, normally we give them in these little pots right here. So this little dinky thing is not what you're getting. You're getting a big old pot. These plants are 3 years old. We've done all the work. And you know, they've already got flower buds ready to come. So the thing is, when you get this home, I recommend putting it in a sunny window. If that's your kitchen, if that's your living room, if it's your office, they just need filtered sunlight. Now, in the summer, you're welcome to bring it outdoors, and that extra boost of sunshine will definitely, you know, give it a flower power. And, you know, here, obviously, we don't have the yellow, but that number of flowers, that's how the purple blooms too. Just a massive quantity of flowers from June all the way through December. There's nothing like a houseplant that actually looks great year round.
What size pot would you recommend?
So, you know, you could leave it in the pot that it comes in for some time, actually. These don't need or like very big containers. And the size of the container limits the size of the plant. So, you know, I would recommend a 12-inch ceramic bulb tray, and all that's, you know, noted in our guide. But they like to have, you know, because they're from the desert like here, they're not used to like tons and tons of like soil space. They want just a small little spot that they can have a small little root system. Now that's the flower. Now these are double, which I haven't talked about yet. You'll notice the 5 petals on the outside ring, but then there's this like centerpiece with like a lot more petals. That's what's special about these, because an ordinary adenium would only just have the 5. So here you're getting a really thick, ruffled, luscious flower like
almost
you
looks like a
there.
Carnation.
Exactly, you know, on a tree.
Yeah. Let me just jump in for 1 second to remind everybody.
Yeah.
You were able to bring us 25,000, and we now have 2,300 remaining. That's it, and then she's gone. She's gone for the season, and then it took 3 years to create what we're shipping out to you now, so there's no guarantee that we'll have these again next year. Plus, I mean, think about this. This is like the perfect mate.
Oh,
like,
totally
needs a little sun. Twice a month you have to pay attention to it and give it a little water. It doesn't need a huge bowl. And you're gonna have flowers. It's gonna be like singing with pretty flowers for up to 6 months.
No,
I mean,
I love it. I have multiple in my house. I want to show you, you know, when you get it home and it's this size, 1 to 2 seasons it'll be about this big. And you know, you could leave it in a container this size its whole life if you wanted to. You never have to move it. It's not gonna beg you for a bigger size pot. And then after another couple seasons, you know, you'll have a plant that looks like this. Now here, this is older than about, this is probably 8 years old, but you'll have a plant this size in about 5 years.
Okay.
So it's not a long time. And you know what? They don't shrink. It's not like a lot of houseplants that get big, then you got to cut them back. No, like once they grow that size, they're that size forever. 2,000
remain. That is it for the season, and then they are absolutely gone. This is our best easy pay plan, $7.30 on this, and it's going to ship out May 4th. This one, you know when it's going to ship out. So whether you live in an apartment, whether we're talking about assisted living where you have a window, it doesn't take a lot of care. Leaves aren't going to be all over the place. You don't have to worry about that. It's just going to be something that's absolutely glorious, interesting in every aspect.
Yes, and you know, I want to talk about the rarity, because this is not a houseplant that you can just go down to the big box store or the local garden store and pick up. These are very hard to come by. We searched the globe for these. We have to grow them for 3 years, and the variety that we have today, the double purple, and we did have the double yellow, they are the cream of the crop, you could say, because, you know, traditional adenium, if you could find them, they're not going to be a double flowered. And they're not going to be 3 years old. These are one of our absolute favorite plants, and definitely house plants, because of their ease of care, their long life, their unique bonsai form, and the fact that you have flowers half of the year. I mean, it's insane.
Derek, only purple, and 1,700 now. We had 25,000 to start with. We have 1,700, and then it is completely gone. We can do build to, ship to, by the way, on this if you want to. Offhand, my brain isn't awake enough to remember exactly the date of Mother's Day, but it ships out May 4th, so I think that's pretty darn close. So it could be maybe a Mother's Day gift that you could send to someone, a congratulations on graduation, or just buy a couple for yourself, because how cool would this be to have in your house?
Oh, definitely.
M61464. All right. Derek, Devin, thank you two very